Today we're going to start a series on Descartes' meditations on first philosophy. We're going to explain these 6 meditations one by one. And today we're just going to cover an introduction of this book. So here's an overview of the key questions that we're going to cover today. So first, what does this book talk about? And second, its structure. And thirdly, who wrote it? And fourth, when was it written? And fifth, the language in which it is written and the reasons why. So first, let's learn about the author, who is René Descartes. He is a French philosopher, mathematician, and scientist. And he's very famous, so we're gonna save some time here. And the fun fact about him is that he is considered the father of modern philosophy. And he has a famous quote, which is basically just, "I think, therefore I am," in English. This piece of sentence is just first proposed the concept of individual consciousness. And this marks a cornerstone for later studies of epistemology, which is basically just philosophy of knowledge. And secondly, he first proposed the mind-body dualism, and this concept later became a central topic for philosophers for centuries to come. And the last reason why he is considered the father of modern philosophy is that he invented rationalism. So you might recall that there is just a huge debate on this later on. And so Descartes is skeptical of sensory experiences. And about the publication year and language, we're going to spend some time on this. So, it is published in 1641 and it was written in Latin. And it looks a bit weird, right? Because by the 17th century, vernaculars had been increasingly used in science and philosophy. But the reasons why Descartes wrote his book in Latin is that, so first he is considering the terminology precision. While many well-established Latin philosophical terms have no easy equivalents in the early modern French or English, so he have to add in more nuances and he have to use Latin. And the second reason is for the benefit of intended audiences. Latin, while European vernaculars were being increasingly used, Latin remained a universal language in the science and philosophy communities. So it's the golden standard, and Latin has the historical root in scholarship, right? And we might spend some time looking at this full title of the Meditations on First Philosophy. Well, its full title is Meditations on First Philosophy, in which the existence of God and the immortality of the soul are demonstrated. So now we're look at this bold texts: the existence of God and the immortality of the soul. So these are basically 2 of the things that Descartes aimed to do in this book. So let's look at what does Descartes talk about in the whole book. Before that, we're gonna spend some time looking at the structure. So first there's a dedication, and it's a letter of dedication to the theological faculty, and it's aiming to show some theological seriousness. So basically, in this book, Descartes is challenging some Aristotelian ideas, which is upheld by the Christian court. So he had to show some respect, right? And second, there's a preface to the reader, nothing weird, and there is an overview of the 6 meditations and the main body, which is the 6 meditations. And he also follows the main body with a section called the objections and replies. It's basically just 7 sets of responses to critics of the book. So, what is a meditation? Well, in this context, meditation does not refer to a mystical religious trance. Rather, it's a deep, reflective exercise of thought, and it has scholarly tradition in Europe. While Stoic and Christian, they traditionally have the habit of self-examination. So, for example, Aurelius has a famous book called Meditations, and he is a Stoic, right? And Descartes' 6 meditations are not separate essays, they are a progressive journey of reflection. And here's just what we are talking about right now. What does Descartes discuss in his meditations? Well, as we mentioned before, he first wanted to prove the existence of God and the immortality and or separability of the soul. So basically, it's just the idea of mind-body dualism, right? And third, the indubitable foundation of knowledge. So, what's the knowledge that cannot be doubted? So that would be the foundation, the premise before we derive any extension of knowledge from that, right? And finally, he wants to establish a new method of reasoning based on certainty. So this certainty is just the indubitable foundation of knowledge. And so the third one and the fourth one are interconnected. And that's all for our introduction, and I hope you can watch my videos on analysis of each of these 6 meditations. And thank you.